everybody, my name is Starrapter and welcome to the channel. E3 2019 came and went. There were so many great reveals, so many great games announced. So I'm going to go through a chronological order of the different press conferences and pick out the different announcements that I thought stood out to me the most. The first one being EA Play. The game I want to talk about, if you guys follow the channel, you could probably guess this, is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This is a big deal for me because it's the first single-player Star Wars game we are getting in basically like a decade since The Force Unleashed. So we have this character of Cal Kestis. It's set in between the events of Revenge of the Sith as well as A New Hope. So he is one of the last Jedis that has survived the Order 66. So this game is all about survival, and the combat kind of revolves around that. It's all lightsaber based. It's going to invoke kind of a Dark Souls feel where you're not going to be going for crazy combos like you did in The Force Unleashed. It's more thoughtful combat, as Respawn Entertainment likes to put it. It also has a bit of Metroidvania in the way of exploration in a non-linear path. You might have to go back and forth to different planets to unlock different abilities for your droid DB1 to unlock like electrical panels to make doors open in certain aspects and things like that. So Respawn Entertainment is on fire right now. They started off the year with Apex Legends, which was huge, and now they're going to end off the year with Jedi Fallen Order, which I think is going to make a very big splash. So I have plenty of content on Jedi Fallen Order on the channel right now, and I will not stop talking about this game, so make sure if you like that, you check that content out. Moving on to Xbox, the first game I want to talk about is Cyberpunk 2077. This game made a huge bang. I mean, this game has so much into it. This is the same people that actually made The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So yeah, we have CD Projekt Red. These guys take their times with the with games, and I appreciate that because it shows off. They're kind of like Rockstar, where it takes them like 5-6 years to make a single game, but when that game comes out, it is always something that moves the needle in the industry, and I think this game will do nothing less because it's all first person. It's in this dystopian kind of future in a way, or cyberpunk. A lot of cyborgs, a lot of different decisions you make that'll be different from somebody else. Big reveal that came out of this part of the conference was that none other than Keanu Reeves himself will play a major role in the game. He's going to be kind of like your mentor or a friend, I take it in a way. But then he came out on stage and people were going nuts. Like, he is having such a great year as an actor. So I cannot wait to jump into this game. Another game that was there was Gears 5. Now, it's not called Gears of War 5. They were just calling it Gears 5. So, I mean, I was kind of disappointed in a way that didn't show us too much of single player. But they did show us this brand new mode called Escape, which it seems pretty interesting. 3 new characters are building from the ground up, and you're going to be able to try to survive this, this chemical blast, and you have to get out of a certain area. So, hey, I applaud them for, the coalition for trying something new. Another game that I really enjoyed seeing was Halo Infinite. Man, oh man, this trailer brought back the feels. We didn't see any gameplay, but we did see quite a bit of story. You have this guy who's stranded in a pelican, and it gets pretty emotional, pretty sentimental, especially when you see Chief coming back. It reminded me of the very first Halo, especially when he's trying to recalibrate himself after being in space for who knows how long. So that also couples in with Project Scarlet. The next Xbox was announced, not officially as far as a name. That's not the official name, just a code name. But they did talk quite a bit about the specs, and they talked about how this has an SSD, how it does ray tracing, how it's capable of 120 frames per second, how it's even capable of 8K resolution, which really, I don't know, I haven't seen an 8K TV yet. 4Ks are just becoming like a mainstream type of technology, so I'm really looking forward to this because it shows us the potential. They talked about the developers in this behind the scenes kind of video where they're talking about the potential the SSD is able to process so many other elements in certain frames. So you're going to be able to start things up way quicker, obviously, with the SSD. And, this is just showing that, Microsoft, they did the same kind of a reveal for the Xbox One X as far as, like, talking about the tech. So that makes me feel very comfortable with the system going forward. They did announce coming out in 2020 with Halo as a launch title, which is the first time that's happened since the original Xbox. So this is a huge deal for gamers because I usually wait like 2 years for an Xbox console to come out. I'm seriously debating buying this game or this system on day one with Halo Infinite And that wasn't the only announcements for like kind of software or hardware-esque announcements at Xbox. They also announced the Project xCloud, or they didn't announce, but they talked more about it, about how your own system can anchor you and be like the streaming platform that you get it from, or you can go from like their mainframe or whatever. So I've yet to actually see this thing in action. I hear it works really well, and that's the next kind of stage of gaming right now is, yeah, just being able to play it on your smartphone anywhere, not having a problem with the specs because it's streamed from another platform. And finally, Game Pass gets revealed for Game Pass Ultimate. They revealed that they're going to have Game Pass for PC, having original titles catered just for the PC for Game Pass. So it's going to be bundled together for Game Pass Ultimate. You're going to have Xbox, you're going to have PC, and you're going to have Gold for $14.99 a month. That is literally the best deal in gaming. Like, that is so good. You get over 100 games that are, some games are actually launching on Game Pass the day they come out, like The Outer Worlds. We got other games like Psychonauts 2. Got games like Gears of War 5. Like, every Xbox first-person game gets released that day on the Game Pass. So it's literally so good to actually have this thing, especially if you're getting a new console. Let's say you've had PS4, you're going to switch things over to Xbox One. You get Game Pass, so you're going to have some of the best games that have come out for the system for its entire generation, plus even some Xbox 360 games. So literally, this is something that you guys should think about because I personally love it. Moving on to Bethesda, I was very surprised that they actually talked about Fallout 76. We know how much of a blunder that was coming out of the gate last year without the NPCs. There was just very empty feeling in the world. And they're actually going back and changing a lot of that. They're going to add this whole new expansion that actually has dialogue options. There's actually humans in the game now. So I very much applauded Bethesda's ability to, try to bolster up this game again. But the big thing I want to talk about is Doom Eternal. I was such a huge fan of Doom 2016. And I still feel like it's a very underrated game. That game to me just enhanced the entire genre of first-person shooters. There was a lot of speed that was involved, just a lot of carnage. The fact that you have to kill enemies to gain health makes it a different kind of survival game where you're actually trying to be in action all the time. The music was great to emphasize the action, and it looks like Doom Eternal is going to be no less than that game because, wow, they have different kind of platforming elements, and now you're going to be going to different worlds, different places, so it looks just like Doom 26, like amped up times 10. So looking forward to that. Moving over to Ubisoft, we have Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which is the pseudo-sequel to Ghost Recon Wildlands, which I haven't really spent enough time with, but I want to, especially after watching footage for this game. It's in a different environment. You have John Bernthal. The Punisher himself is going to be the main villain, the main antagonist in this game. And the reason why I want to talk about this is the gameplay demos I've seen are very tactical to the sense where you can actually mark your targets. You go in with your buddies and you'll say, I got B or I got C or whatever the marking 1, 2, 3, and you guys can synchronize your shots together. And it's very much a game about survival. You are being hunted, so you have to survive, and it's this very vast environment. This island has all different kind of ecosystems. I like how when you start the match or whatever it is, you could actually kind of go into, different ways of buffing your character as far as, weapons check or doing calisthenics or something, or like picking out your weapon arrangements and your loadouts to really kind of fit your playstyle, your different skill sets. So it's going to be very like nitty gritty details, and it looks like even if you get shot, it's not like you're going to be able to just take a med pack and just be fine. Like you actually start stumbling around even if you use the med pack or bandages, to repair different wounds and stuff like that. It looks very, very punishing, but it looks fun in the same regard. Another game that looks really fun though is Watch Dogs Legion. Now this is technically the third sequel, or the second sequel to Watch Dogs, the third game in a series, basically. And this game sets in London, and you're a new character, and it looks insane, right? The main catch of this game is you're going to be able to play any PC or any NPC in the game. So if you want to play the grandmother, you can actually initiate her into this gang that you have, this cyber gang, and she'll be like your person to go around and maybe assassinate people, maybe use electronics, or you can have the athletic star. So you basically can walk up to anybody and just can, assimilate them into your group. So that to me is huge That, like, think of that. Like, all the voice acting that has to get put in the game, all the different animations that have to get put in the game for any person you kind of get into your gang. So that looks revolutionary to me, and that's the kind of kick in the butt that I think this series has needed, because Watch Dogs, yeah, it's been around for a little bit at this point, but whenever it comes out, it's always usually kind of lackluster. I personally never played any of the games. This is just going by word of mouth, different reviews I watched. So nonetheless, I'm actually pretty intrigued about this game. Moving on to Square Enix. Very big conference this year compared to last year. They had like this little media stream which didn't reveal pretty much anything about any of the games. But this year, they went all out, and I actually quite enjoyed their conference. So the first game they talked about, and I can't believe that I'm going to be talking about this because I've never been a fan, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. And, you know, I don't know, anime just never really stuck to me as something that I really enjoyed other than Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But Final Fantasy VII is obviously the landmark title of the entire series. It came out like 22 years ago. I never got into it. I wasn't really into those kind of Final Fantasy games back in the day. But after watching the gameplay reveal of 7 and seeing how far they've come with their gameplay mechanics, and you know, they're adapting to like what the world likes now, which is a little bit more real time rather than turn based, but they still have an element of turn based, but you still aren't hold to actually do turn based, and you can play the whole thing live action, or you can choose to pause it at certain things, link up attacks. So I really liked the graphics. They showed off a boss battle that reminded me of like World of Warcraft, where there's multiple phases of the boss battles. So yeah, I mean, this is exactly the experience I want to partake in, and I don't know anything about the plot of the game either. So that's a big thing for me. It's like I don't know like what happens at the end. I know it's been 22 years and nobody's spoiled it for me, so I'm thankful for that. Now I just gotta hope that this game comes out on the Xbox One or the PC, because when they announced it, it only said PlayStation 4. There's rumblings, there's rumors around that that's just for the initial launch of the game, is that eventually it will come out to cross-platform. So I'm crossing my fingers, because I seriously think that this might be the first Final Fantasy game that I'll jump into, because it definitely looks very appealing for me. Finally, the biggie of Square Enix's conference was none other than Marvel's Avengers, and there's this huge lofty expectation of this game. We've seen a leak before this conference about it being a continuous single and multiplayer game. And you can tell they are working super hard. The people at Crystal Dynamics that brought us games like Tomb Raider have been working on this game for quite some time. And the fact that they were able to actually get these new voice actors, or not new, but get these voice actors to portray original creations of the characters of the Hulk, of Black Widow, of Iron Man, of Thor, and of Captain America. I mean, we have Troy Baker as the Hulk. We have, Nolan North as Iron Man. So these huge namesakes in all of, the voice acting of video games, they're making a big deal out of this game being very cinematic, which I very much appreciate. I was a little bit let down that they didn't show gameplay. They apparently showed gameplay behind closed doors. I guess it wasn't quite ready for the public because they're afraid, I guess, that the people are going to tear it apart. But, I think that there's lots of potential from the reviews I've read of the behind the closed doors. It seems like they are struggling a little bit, not struggling, but to me it seems a little bit wonky, where some of the game is going to be single player, some of the game is going to be multiplayer. I just really hope that this doesn't turn into something like Anthem, where it's like they're both different things, like single player and multiplayer, and they try to link them together. There's going to be customization in this game. They're going to be releasing heroes for free. There's going to be microtransactions, I hear. Hopefully it's just aesthetics, but they are planning on making this game extend for a number of years. They're going to include story going forward. They're also going to include new regions to explore, and it's up to 4-player co-op. So I just can't wait to see that. Like, everybody just playing together and just basically making their own Avengers. So it does look epic. I'm looking forward to the story. So yeah, awesome stuff there for Avengers. That's coming out in May. Going on to Nintendo. Wow, Nintendo has been really surprising me as far as their third-party support for Nintendo Switch. Like, all these publishers are all in. In Wii U's time, there was basically nothing for third-party support. And here we are, like every month we're getting this big announcement. First thing I want to talk about is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Like, I would have never thought in my imagination, first off, that Nintendo would allow a game that mature, that adult to be on their family, system. At least it seemed that way for the Wii U and the Wii. Well, they're going as bad as you can get as far as that content is concerned. I'm so surprised they were able to get the game to work, because that game still stands as one of the most beautiful games on the current gen, especially if you look at a PC. It looks insane. The game is going to be downscaled just so it'll work on the Switch, which, I kind of expected. Apparently it's going to be native 540, but when you put it into the dock, it jumps it up to 720p. So just be prepared for that. But I can't imagine it just being on the train, just playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and just being totally, ingrained into the gameplay. Another thing that I did not see coming is Banjo-Kazooie, one of my favorite characters of all time, coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Man, that game has the best roster of any game I've seen as far as characters. Banjo-Kazooie, I hold high in my heart for being one of the very first games that I have memories of. For the N64, I played the heck out of that game, and seeing these characters come to life and seeing that Rare owns the rights to Banjo and Kazooie, and we know that Xbox actually owns Rare, so I was so happy to see that Nintendo and Xbox actually made a deal for this to happen, and we're seeing that happen more and more between Nintendo and Xbox. It was said a while ago that they were going to have Game Pass on Nintendo, so I don't know if that's a rumor now, because I would have expected them to talk more about that at E3. I didn't really hear anything about that, but other than that, that is really cool. So they also talked a little bit about Pokemon Sword and Shield, and that has always been like my expectation for a current gen Pokemon game, right? Is having this full 3D world that you could explore, dynamic battles, and it's got everything I want, plus it's portable basically. So wow, this is a game that I can actually get behind. This is a game that is making me want to buy Nintendo Switch more than I've had any other reason to, because this is it. This is the ultimate Pokemon game, I think, for me. And finally, this is very unexpected for everybody, is they're making a sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Another game that I really want to buy a Switch for. Haven't gotten around to it, mainly because I don't even have enough time to finish all my Xbox games from 2017 that I still have yet to play. So yeah, that was all of my highlights from E3 2019. My takeaway message is, man, they have a lot of great games coming out in the beginning part of 2020. I mean, look at that. We have Cyberpunk 2077. We have Avengers. We have Watch Dogs, Breakpoint. We have Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, there's so many games front-loaded to where the beginning of 2020 seems almost like the fall of 2019 now. For the fall, we do have quite a few good games like, Doom Eternal. We have Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And the game I'm looking most forward to is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So what game are you most looking forward to? Let's talk about them in the comment section below. Guys, if you're new to the channel and you like Star Wars, video games, movies, and more, you can support the channel simply by subscribing. That is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.